Hello, Facebook. I'm Kelly Hutchison, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm going to talk to you tonight about an email that I get every single day, probably 10 to 15 times a day. It's about how do I get my kids to listen to me? How can I stop yelling at them, Kelly? I love them so much. How can I help them? How can I get them to listen? How I just feel like this is us all day long. And I'm like, I know, I get it. I'm coming to you from a place, from a counselor's point of view, from a teacher's point of view, and from a mom's point of view, because this is what I used to do with my kids. And so I don't do this anymore with my kids, but I did it. I didn't do it in the classroom. I didn't do it in my counselor's office. And here's the difference. So I get this email literally every single stinking honking day. Kelly, I can't stop yelling at my kids. They don't listen unless I do. How do I get them to listen? They're annoying me. They're frustrating me. I love them to death, but I just can't get anything done. And it's just, if they will listen, I wouldn't have to yell. I literally, I wish if I had a penny for every time I got that email in the last 3 years, I would be not a billionaire, a gabillionaire. Like the biggest thing that you can be in the airs. That would be me, because I get the same thing. I can't stop yelling. I have no patience. They drive me bonkers. I love them so much. And that's where the paradox is, because you love them so much and you're doing this more than you're doing this. And I'm going to teach you how to get it to stop. Because right now you're on a crazy cycle. Wait till you see what I made. Look how pretty this is. I think it's backwards, but that's okay. It's not backwards to me. So I've done a video about this before. You're on the crazy cycle. I was on the crazy cycle. Now I'm not on the crazy cycle anymore. Thank the Lord, because the crazy cycle made me feel crazy. The Conscious Parent by Dr. Shefali got me off this crazy cycle. So this is what most people are on, and this is why you're so frustrated, because you can't understand. I love this human being so much. You're looking at them while they're sleeping. But they're driving me crazy. Why is this happening? Because you're on the crazy cycle. And guess what? You're driving them crazy too. Okay, so the incident happens. The disrespect, the name calling, the eye roll, the door slam, the raspberry, the hitting, the not listening, the yelling, whatever it is. This is the child. This is the incident. I don't care if they're 2. I don't care if they're 12. I don't care if they're 15. I don't care if they're 4, 7. This is the incident. This is the triggering incident that you're like, ooh. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? You're going to do that right now? I am not going to raise a child that does that, blah, 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 and you're going all this in your head. So then you yell, scream, swat, bark, whatever. Don't you dare, and you start going in your little 2 snaps up in the Z formation. But I'm going to tell you, this is where the magic happens. The power is in the pause between the incident and your reaction, because your reaction is all you can control in this. If you try to control the kids, they will bump back, because they are their own spirit, their own person, their own individual, and they are going to push back. Some kids will go inwards and overly comply and be like, people please, people please, people please. And then other words will be like, no. So then it's like you against them. They don't see you as someone on the common ground. They see it you against them, and they are going to win. Some kids want to win. Some kids are like, whatever you want, and they just cower. And you don't want either of that. So this is where the power happens. It's in the pause. Now, I've done a video about this whole crazy cycle, because what happens is then you yell, swat, yell, name call, whatever happens, and then you feel guilt, shame, I shouldn't have, and guess what they feel? Guilt, shame, I shouldn't have, but they're so little that they're not going to know how to get off this crazy cycle, because you're thinking, if they would just do bup, then I wouldn't have to yell. I hear that all the time. I did it too. If they would just listen, if they would just comply, if they just be nice to their brother, if they just be nice to their sister, whatever it is, if they just would, they're not going to. So you're going to be waiting a long time for them to, if they just would. So don't wait for that. Get off the crazy cycle, but you are the adult. They are 5, 7, 9, 12, 14. Some of them still believe in Santa Claus, okay? I'm whispering that because there might be kids listening. If my daughter loses her tooth, she thinks there's a fairy that's going to fly in our house and fly underneath her pillow and give money, okay? That just shows how undeveloped their brains are. So you're expecting them to get off this crazy cycle. It ain't going to happen. So don't be waiting, because you're going to be waiting for a bus when you're at the airport. You're going to be at the airport waiting for the bus to pick you up. It's not going to happen. You can't get off the crazy cycle. So then you both feel shame, you both feel guilt, they don't know how to get out the crazy cycle, and then you feel like a failure, and then they do too. They feel like, I'm a bad kid, I'm a naughty kid, I never listen. So guess what happens? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if I never listen, then I'm not going to listen to mom. They're not on my same team. They're not my ally. It's me against them. So it's a lose-lose. So then the wall of defensiveness builds and builds and builds. Is this helping? Give me some hearts. Give me some love. Give me some love. Holy pink, by the way. Okay, so this is what you're going to change, all right? So detachment in this moment is the power right here. This is your power, because if you want them to be cooperative, doesn't sound right. If you want them to cooperate, if you want connection, if you want compliance, if you want them to do A, B, and C, then you have to build the connection. Connection is not, I'm all fired up. Connection is not built with the monopoly, the hugs and the cuddles and the books. That's all fine and dandy. But the power of this connection that happens right here is something very profound, because what's happening is your child is having a basic human emotion, whether it's happy, not happy, that's fun. Whether it's sad, anger, frustration, whatever it is, I don't know about you, but I feel those feelings every single day. So though your kids are going to feel those same feelings, I'm not yelling at you, I feel like I'm yelling at you, are going to feel those same feelings every single stinking honkin' day, no matter what their age, because I'm 41 and I have those same feelings every single stinking honkin' day. So what we're going to teach them is what these feelings are, because it's like they're just being poked, not by you, but by these feelings. They're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. So this is what you're going to do, and it works every single time, because if you don't want the tantrums to stop, you want to bring them on, normal human emotions. Yeah, bring them on. I can handle it, because you're going to hold this space for your child during their storm, during their meltdown, during their tantrum, during their disrespect. And you're like, I am not going to make that okay. I'm not going to be a soft place for them, because if I do that, then I'm saying that's okay. But if you are being disrespected, you're not going to meet disrespect with more disrespect. Does that make any sense? When you say, stop yelling at me when you're yelling at them, or don't hit your brother, so now I'm going to give you a spanking. These kids are like, what? I don't understand. Because lessons are caught and never taught. Okay? I want to make sure I got that right. So I made another is this cute little font? So first thing you're going to do is detach, which is the hardest part of it all. But what you're going to do is the same thing I did in the classroom. I detached. I saw the behaviors. I was like, it didn't bother me. It went over my head, because it wasn't my child that I felt responsible for. Like they were my trophy. Like, show off how well behaved you are. No. They are not your trophy. They are not. So figure out what is being triggered in that moment, and then you detach. Pretend like you're babysitting my kids. Are you going to bark, yell, and snap? No, you're not going to do it to my kids. Pretend like you're watching your niece and your nephew, whoever it is. Pretend like you're the teacher. Pretend like you have video cameras in your house and you're on a reality TV show. Pretend that their eyeballs is the video camera. So you're going to detach. That is when you get out of yourself. It's almost like you step out of yourself and you detach. The hardest part. But once you get past this and you practice it day in and day out, it becomes easier. And you can see it for what it is. Remember, you are babysitting your kids at that moment, because that's when you take the emotion out of it, and you are going to hold the space for your child in that moment, because they are having a basic human emotion, okay? We have to get that, because we have to teach them how to handle these emotions, not just stop it, you're being annoying, all this stuff that doesn't work, because then they're going to think, I'm having this feeling, but my mom says not to, my dad says not to, so I must be feeling something right. So they're going to break off from their own emotional connection, and then they're going to be like, I not even be able to trust how they're feeling themselves. So you're going to be babysitting. This is detachment. Hardest part, this is where the magic happens. When you detach and you go into connection, okay, then you label, what do you see? You label their behavior, and you're talking just like this. Wow, you seem very blank. And then you insert the human emotion. It sounds very basic, but it works, because you are diffusing. They are on fire. You're putting water. You're their fire extinguisher. You're holding the space for them, because you are the parent and you're teaching them. Oh, I'm getting all fired up. So you tell them what you're seeing. I'm seeing that you're feeling blank. Maybe it's because, and there's HALT, H-A-L-T. They could be feeling hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Those could be triggers for them. If they're hungry, if they're angry, if they're lonely, if they're tired, those are things that are going to be triggered. Those aren't the actual feelings, but you can say, I see that you're feeling very frustrated. You're having big feelings right now. You are feeling really angry. I can see it in your face because you're labeling their emotions. Even if they're 10, 12, 15, you still need to label their emotions, but you are staying like this the entire time. You're not going on this roller coaster with them, because if you go on that roller coaster with them, you are going to be back on this crazy cycle, and you're going to be on it for a very long time. So you stay calm because you're detached. You remember, you're babysitting my kids. You're not going to yell, scream, bark, spank any of my kids. So you're detached. So it's easy now because you're out of that space, because there's that power in the pause. You're going to label what you're seeing. I'm seeing that you're feeling very blank. Now this is another magical moment. You are going to validate. You're going to story tell at this moment. This all happens very, very fast. In this moment when you're validating, our kids are feeling uncomfortable because of this emotion. I know when I'm feeling mad or sad, it is not a friendly emotion. So what we're going to do is we're going to validate that emotion and normalize it to let them know that this feeling that they're having is very normal. I can see you're feeling very frustrated because you seem like you have a lot of homework. You feel like you have a lot of homework, okay? So you're going to say, I see because you. I see you're frustrated your sister won't share that toy. I see you're angry because I won't give you the banana after you brushed your teeth. I see blank. You're having, and you're talking just like this. Just like this, because you are diffusing. You're the fire extinguisher, holding the space, holding the space, holding the space, detaching. You're babysitting. You're a teacher in the classroom, teacher in this classroom, principal's watching. You're being observed by the principal. All those things are happening because you're detached. You are completely detached. This is when you go into, you're not like, I'm so in love with you, I'm so enmeshed with you, everything, you always need to be happy, 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 happy. We are known as the happy Hutchinson. So when I didn't see happiness, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm failing. So I was triggered. All those feelings were feeling, I'm triggered. So you're going to normalize, and then you're going to tell a story. And this is magic. You could say, I felt very frustrated when I had so much work to do and I didn't think I was going to finish it. And my to-do list was like this long. You're normalizing it, whether you're an adult and you had that emotion that day, or go back to when they were 5 and 8. I remember when my teacher said that to me, I was really embarrassed too. Or you just make stuff up, make up a story. I remember feeling like that in 3rd grade when I felt overwhelmed with the math homework. Or I remember feeling overwhelmed that I could not, Grady's frustrated with his handwriting. He wants to do it so well, and it's just like, it's like all over the map. And he's like, oh. I'm like, I see you're feeling very frustrated because your handwriting, you're trying so hard, aren't you? I remember when I was in kindergarten, Mrs. Gratch told me that I needed to try harder on my handwriting. It was so hard to get the muscles in my hand. And as you can like see the energy, this falling out of them, all that tension. And they're like, you do? Like you get them, and you get them. And there's nothing better than when someone gets you. And when it's your mom or your dad, oh my gosh, it's like, I just fell in love with you all over again. They're like, really? So it's not you against them, it's win-win. And then, how can I help you? How can I help you? Do you want me to help you by counting to 10 to help you calm down? Do you want me to, what does Lily like to do? Do you want me to help you by giving you a hug? And this is not becoming a softie or making these feelings okay. This is holding the space. We can talk about later, like, wow, you had some really big feelings. You were really disrespectful, but you're not going to meet disrespect with disrespect. Does that make sense? And then make things games. When you're saying, how can I help? Be proactive. Like Grady does not like brushing his teeth. So you know what we do? What do we do? Oh, I'm going to guess what sink Grady's going to brush his teeth on. I'm going to guess and keep it in my head and see if I'm right. Grady, go brush your teeth and see, and we'll guess who's right. He doesn't like to get dressed up for his bath. We're all going to guess what jammies Grady's going to wear. And what does he do? He zooms off and he's like, comes out with his Batman jammies. And one of the 3 of us is right. We're like, oh, I'm always wrong. And he's just like, but the more you can detach, the more you can play the games. And you can be like detached from the situation and not so like, you're going to listen, you never listen, and you're such a bad listener, and why don't you ever listen? I would have to yell if you didn't. And that's an energy that they don't want. Because imagine if someone's yelling at you. Does that make you move faster? Does that make you get in the car faster? Does that make you want to put on your jammies faster? You probably don't wear jammies, but you know what I mean. Is this helping? Throw me some hearts. So then when that happens, what do? You are such a good listener. I asked you one time to put on your jammies, and you put on your jammies. Even though there's a game involved, he's 5 years old. Am I going to be playing that game with him when he's 15? No, we don't need to worry about it. Little brains, little games, little fun. And so then they feel like, I'm a really good listener. Mom is always there for me. Dad's always there for me. And this is how we are at all times. Oh, it's so hard, Kelly. You don't understand. They push my buttons. You push my buttons. Dr. Shafali told me something that literally I was at Evolve conference last December, which you have to go. It's in New York. It's going to be amazing. And she said, do you understand? And she said in the most beautiful accent, there is no one that can push your buttons. You put the buttons there. You have buttons all over you. You need to explore why those buttons are there. I was like, wait a minute. You mean David can't push my buttons? My kids can't put my buttons? You're telling me that people don't push my buttons? I got another thing coming to you. She says, every interaction is neutral. And it's our spin that we put on it based on all of our baggage, all of our Samsonite luggage that we're bringing to the table. All the fear of failure, all the fear of I'm not doing a good enough job, all that comes to the forefront. And that button was placed there by you. So you need to find out where those buttons and where those wires go to. So when you do that, you will have connection. And when you have connection, you have compliance, you have cooperation, because you're like this the whole time. And you set the tone for the whole house. So when people do flip out, which it's going to happen because it's a basic human emotion and their brains are very still undeveloped, then it's kind of like, oh, that's not what we really do here, but okay, we're just going to hold the space for you. The other day, Lily was having a meltdown. She didn't even know why she was having a meltdown. She's like, do you ever feel like you're just going to cry sometimes? You don't even know why. I'm like, actually, I do. And then Grady, he ran to the car and got the umbrella from the car because we always say, like, we're the umbrella, we're the umbrella. We didn't open in the house, don't worry. But you're teaching them, now guess how they're going to interact when they get frustrated with each other. Wow, you're feeling very blank. So you're setting the tone, and you're figuring out win-wins all around. Lily and I, we're always like this. We talk about how we have a water in between the both of us, and we're two palm trees, and we both want some of that water. So if she wants something and I want something, like I want her to go get dressed and she wants to go do something, then I'm like, all right, why don't you go do this while I do this, and we'll meet in the middle and we'll find a win-win. I'm going to bend doing this and you're going to bend doing this. So when you find that win-win, you have like cooperation because they see you on the same team. But when they see it, you against them, it ain't gonna work, it ain't gonna fly. So if this helps you, let me know what other videos you want me to help you with. Every single month we do a parenting boot camp that we talk about this and so much more. So if you're interested, comment below with a capital YES or stop the crying, stop the tantruming. And we're not stopping it, we are diffusing it. We are being the calm in their storm. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I love all the hearts. Live makes me so scared. You have no idea, but I did it anyway. I took that fear and I punched it in the face. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm in my bright shirt, my bright pink shirt, and I'm sweating because I'm all heated up. I would take this off, but I only have a bra underneath. Okay, I went too far. Okay, I love you guys. I hope this comes from a very non-judgmental, non-judgmental, I just know that I struggled in this area so much and I don't anymore. And like, I'll say like, go do this. And then they'll like, go and do it. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Tension in our house was here. I read The Conscious Parent and applied what I learned. Not just read it, applied it, listened to it over and over and over and over and over. And then the tension in our home went to like here. It was like you could see it on the thermometer like go down. It was almost creepy. I was like, everyone needs to know about this because I was doing so much fear-based parenting. I had no idea. I feel like I was a really good conscious teacher, but when it came to parenting, not so much. But everything just went down, down, down. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to enjoy these amazing kids that you have because your kids are delicious, amazing. My kids aren't any better or worse. Like kids are kids are kids are kids. Your kids are amazing. Know that. Live that, love that, and I want to hear all about how amazing your kids are. And I want to build that connection because when you have connection, you have less tension, less stress, less arguing with your spouse. All that like energy in your home, bring it down. And the only people that can do it are the adults. Okay? I love you. Hope this helped.